This is the moment 12-year-old Jason Kandeke and his sister Esther were reunited with their grandmother and uncle. The first contact they've had with their family since Congolese fighters killed their parents 6 years ago. Militias had raided their village in southeastern Democratic Republic of Congo, a region where groups have clashed for years, fighting over land and resources. Jason and 14-year-old Esther fled to another village where they were taken in, but earlier this year their carers were killed in yet another attack. A friend passed their story on to the International Committee of the Red Cross, who managed to locate their uncle.
A few days later, the ICRC people came to tell us they found the brother of our father. I knew him from a while back. I'm very happy to see him again.
The number of children being separated from their families in Congo continues to grow, the ICRC has said, particularly in North Kivu province, where the M23 rebel group has launched a renewed offensive in recent months.
Esther?
But this week, Jason and Esther were able to go to a new home, boarding a plane with scores of other children.
I'm really happy to be home with my proper family. It was hard to lose my parents, and now I'm really happy with my uncle. I want to go to school, study, be a normal kid.
The ICRC said it organised 11 flights between July 6th and 8th across several of Congo's provinces. In total, 83 children aged between 5 and 19 were reunited with their relatives, some after years apart.
Thousands of protesters in Sri Lanka stormed the president's official residence on Saturday. They're angry over the country's worst economic crisis for 7 decades. Footage from local media outlet News Cutter showed demonstrators inside the property, located in the commercial capital, Colombo. The chants you can hear are calling for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to step down. He was not inside the residence, 2 Defence Ministry sources said, having left on Friday ahead of planned weekend rallies. Footage circulating on social media showed some bathing in a swimming pool inside the president's house. TV footage also showed thousands breaking open the gates of the Presidential Secretariat and the Finance Ministry, which has been the site of a sit-in protest for months. Amid the political crisis, the office of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said on Saturday that he was willing to resign to make way for an all-party government. The Indian Ocean island of 22 million people is struggling under a severe foreign exchange shortage. Essential imports of fuel, food and medicine have been limited. Soaring inflation is expected to hit 70% in the coming months, heaping hardship on the population. The situation comes after the global health crisis hammered the tourism-reliant economy and has been exacerbated by factors including huge government debt and rising oil prices. But many blame the country's decline on economic mismanagement by Rajapaksa, and largely peaceful protests since March have demanded his resignation.
The body of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has arrived back at his home in Tokyo the day after he was assassinated by a lone gunman. The rare act of political violence has shocked the largely crime-free country. Mourners gathered at his residence and at the scene of Friday's attack in the western city of Nara, where Abe was shot at close range with a homemade gun while delivering a campaign speech. Police say the 41-year-old unemployed gunman held a grudge against Abe. The suspect, Tetsuya Yamagami, was arrested immediately after the attack. He told police he believed Abe was linked to a religious group he blamed for ruining his mother financially and breaking up the family, media reported, citing police sources. Police have not identified the group. Elections for seats in Japan's upper house of parliament are going ahead as scheduled on Sunday. They are expected to deliver victory to the ruling coalition led by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, an Abe protege. After making an emergency return to Tokyo on Friday after the shooting, Kishida was back on the campaign trail, visiting regional constituencies. A heavy police presence and metal detectors were seen at the site where he is due to make a campaign speech. In Nara, some 280 miles southwest of Tokyo, a stream of people queued up to lay flowers on a table that also held a photograph of Abe. One mourner, 50-year-old Natsumi Niwa, says Abe's policies had inspired her to name her son Kuni, meaning nation in Japanese. Abe was Japan's longest-serving modern leader and served twice as prime minister. His death has drawn condolences from across political divides and from around the world. A night vigil will be held on Monday, and according to media reports, Abe's funeral will take place on Tuesday, attended by close friends.
After a dramatic storming of his official residence by swarms of angry protesters, Sri Lanka's president said he will step down on July 13th, according to the country's parliamentary speaker. The impending departure of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa comes after video footage showed protesters swimming in his pool, jumping on a four-poster bed, even emptying a chest of drawers. And Sri Lankans frustrated by the country's economic struggles didn't stop there. Protesters also set fire to the Prime Minister's private home, his office said. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is also willing to resign, according to his office, to make way for an all-party government. The dramatic escalation of events came after months of largely peaceful protests over a dire economic crisis on the Indian Ocean island nation of 22 million people, with many wishing the country's leaders had left sooner.
Because had they gone earlier, there wouldn't have been any destruction. And it's time that we got all our stolen money back to this country. And also the air conditions are running in that presidential palace while people don't have electricity in their homes.
Sri Lanka is buckling under a severe foreign exchange shortage that has limited essential imports of fuel, food, and medicine, plunging it into the worst economic crisis since its independence in 1948. Soaring inflation reached a record 54.6% in June and is expected to hit 70% in the coming months. Sources told Reuters at least 39 people, including 2 police officers, were injured and hospitalized during the protests. There were no immediate reports of injuries in the blaze at the Prime Minister's house. Neither the Prime Minister nor the President were in their residences when the buildings were attacked. The country's parliamentary speaker said in a letter to President Rajapaksa that several decisions had been made at a meeting of party leaders, including the President and the Prime Minister resigning as soon as possible, and Parliament being called within 7 days to select an acting president.